Hey everyone, this is Patricia. It's been a while since I've done a face-to-face type video. So I wanted to say hi and have a special little partner in crime here with me.
Me and Snowball. So this is Snowball. This is a hideaway pet.
And if y'all haven't seen the other videos that we've done, this is Emma, my daughter.
Hi.
We're having a fun little Saturday. It's been a busy time. We've just finished with Mardi Gras and we're right in the middle of Chinese New Year. So we've had all kinds of fun celebrating that as well. But today we're doing some crafty stuff, right, Emma?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to do something with our Journey Color Burst pencils. And I don't know if that's backwards on your video or if it flips later. But it's a huge investment. And as a scrapbooker, I didn't normally color images, so I particularly really like the pencils. So I want to share a little bit of how I've learned how to color. I'm always practicing. I am not an expert at it. And some of the other things that I want to share are new things from our Bloom This Way catalog. If you haven't seen that, you can view it online on Fun Stampers Journey website, and you can also get a copy from a coach. Okay, so we have some new fun liquid colors, you silly girl, and I want to use those in the projects that I do today. And this is the new stamp that I'm going to use on all of my cards today.
And the reason, themed.
Well, it's not really. It's spring. But if you notice, there's Be Mine, there's Wish You Luck, Happy Easter, Happy Birthday, Thinking of You. So this really is storybook occasions. This really is a great life of different occasions to create with, and that's what I did. I created 3 different cards. I'll share those later, but you really can create not just Easter, not just St. Patrick's or Valentine's. So let's go ahead and get crafty, right, Emma? Silly girl. All right, I'm gonna flip the camera around. Be right back. Okay, so here is our Journey Color Burst tin. It's a really nice tin, and on the inside cover it has all the numbers and the names. Also, a lot of them have the names of our Fusion inks and how to make the same color as our Fusion inks. You can blend more than one color. It's 2 rows of pencils there, as you can see. I have some of the pencils out. My stamped image is on whipped cream cardstock with our black licorice. Now, I find that I can't rely on looking at the color of the pencil tip or even the bottom part of the pencil. So in order, I have 44, 45, 46, and I'll put them in order to make a little swatch on my pad there so that I can see which is lighter and darker and different shades. And I'm starting with 46. I find that 46 is the lighter one. And actually 44 ended up being a little bit darker, kind of a bluish. What I have learned is you definitely want to start with the lighter gray first. So you want to completely color in your image. Now I left part of his ear because I want some of that to be pink on the inside. Now I'm going to go instead with that, which you would think would be the next color to use, is the 45. I'm going to go with the 44. That was the next lighter color. So it adds a little bit more darkness. You want to apply very light pressure on these first layers of coloring an image like this. Now as I'm coloring here, I'm adding a little bit of shading. And like I said, I'm not an expert, but I like to add a little bit of shading, like under his chin, maybe even on his whiskers, areas where you know there might be some shadows or anywhere to create some depth. I really just basically want this stamped image to come to life. So then you want to take your lighter color again, as I am here, and then you want to blend. Now you can do this as much as you want. Start with your lighter color, go to the next darker color, add your shading, then take your lighter color again and do some blending. Then take the next darker color, as I am here, it's that bluish gray, and then take that lighter color again and do some blending. You can do this as much as you want and take your time, and that's why coloring can take a little bit more time, and it depends on how detailed and how precise you want to get and how blended. I am okay with leaving a little bit of harsh marks in between my colors, but if that is not something you would prefer, then you definitely want to take your time and do those blending steps. Now I'm going to take the pretty little pink color here for his cheeks. It's number 6, and the pencils are wax, so you can feel that wax on top of the wax, and sometimes you do need to press a little bit harder, especially for light colors like this. So I pressed a little bit harder to get a little bit color on his cheek, nose, and his ears. Now I don't need a swatch for these green shades that I'm going to use for the clovers. I can tell for sure which is lighter and darker. This one is almost like a cool pool color of our Fusion ink. I'm starting with that one. Oh, and I wanted to show you guys here. I'm just using the 44 and the gray just to go over real quickly in this tiny area of a stamped image like that, for instance, his tail. So you don't have to really do a lot of shading. So I'm going to continue now with the clover, and I'm picking the more brighter green. I'm starting in the center. I want the center to be darker, the outside of the clovers to be lighter. Now I'm going with the final darker color, adding a little bit more pressure and then lighter pressure as I go around. Going around in a circle is a good way to help blend. You can go up and down, especially on big stamped images, but going in circles is also a great way to add some of that blending technique. Okay, you can see I've speeded up the video. Coloring can take time, so I didn't want to take up too much time, and I won't color all of those clovers. I just wanted to at least touch on every image in this stamped image. So next is this bird. Cute little bird. I use this very, very pale color of blue. I believe it's 28. And then I'm going with another shade of blue that is very big contrast, 26, much darker. So you definitely want to go very light. And this is a small image, so I find even though I have quite a few colors for him, I want to definitely do a light touch. And I really don't need to blend a whole lot. This yellow is a very light yellow, but oh, it's so springy and pretty. I add that to a little bit to his feathers and his face, and then I take the orange, which again is a really strong contrast from that, so I want to have a very light hand. But just that little touch of orange on that yellow and then blending it again with the yellow just is so pretty. Makes that little bird have a little bit more personality. Now I have a heavy pressure here, and I'm just going over with that same orange for his little feet. Okay, now for his little birdhouse, I wanted to go with a kind of a rustic, weathered, worn wood look. So I'm kind of actually going with colors that you would use for skin tone. So I started with 8, the lightest. Again, always the lightest. And then I'm going with the 38. And the 38, I kind of, as you see, our stamps have a lot of detail. You can see like the little black marks, like there's some weatheredness there, and on the roof as well, and on the post. You can use strokes. I use strokes on the post, and then I'm using little strokes here on those little areas. So I am emphasizing on those areas, but I'm also going around there, as you can see on the image, and adding some shading there under the roof. Now, I was playing around with this. I really like this. It's the 46 gray. Just doing the same thing, going up from where you'd have some shadow at the top, and then from the bottom, and then going in those little distressed areas, and then going completely over. I just really like the look of the gray on top of the 8 and 38 colors. You could not get that if you just went straight with the gray, and that's why layering is just so pretty. Now I'm going to take that darker 38 color and just use a little bit heavier pressure and go over his little perch there. Okay, as a final step, I really like to add this. It's actually our Journey brush silver color. It's 29. It's very pale and it's really hard to see on camera, but in person you really can see it. It helps the image pop. I go all the way around the image, and you'll see here in a little bit, but I want to show you I used our design cut pockets. It's a 3x4 cut, and you can really help position and get the right composition of your image. I had a small piece that I started with, but if you had a bigger piece, you could really work with your composition. And there you can see that just coloring around the image helps give it even more of a pop, a more of a 3D look. But on those pocket dies, I really like those little scallops, because the little piercing scallops, because they look so springy looking. And this also looks springy, our Circle Bliss stencil. I'm going to add some texture on the background, but I want to create a mask. So I stamp on a sticky note, and the parts that aren't sticky, I just add a little bit of our tape runner and then press to get some of the stickiness off. Just want it to be tacky to keep it in place. This card and all three of the cards that I ended up making have a lot of texture. I could have left the background here white with the pretty scalloped piercing from those die cuts that I used, but you know, I just want a little bit of softness in the background. So here's how I store all of my little daubers, my small and my large ones, the little foam. All in the back I have little labels that say liquid colors. All in the back are liquid colors that I've used for with the liquid colors. Those right there I've used with our True Fusion inks. They don't play nice together, so you need to keep them separate. Only use a dauber for your True Fusion inks, and only use one for your liquid color. And then of course for your color families or that specific color. So I'm going to use our Cool Pool. I'm going with that whole kind of almost, it is St. Patrick's kind of a look, but definitely very springy. I like to use our acrylic blocks. I only put a couple of drops of the liquid color, and I really dab it out very good to blend it very well on that dauber, because when you start applying the color, and I'm okay with that, you'll get a little bit of darkness and a little bit of lightness at first, and it won't appear to blend as well, but it is blending. It just, you will see little parts that will be a little bit darker. So I like to get as much color from just those couple of drops of liquid color, and the harder that you press with your dauber, the more that you'll get from just those two drops. So instead of applying any more liquid color, I'm going to concentrate on the bottom here, since you know, the bottom, to give it a little bit more grounding. I'm going to press hard and make sure I have enough green there at the bottom. And that's it. I did 2 more images from this stamp set, and then I used our new Springfield prints from this Bloom This Way catalog and some more cardstock, and I used all of the liquid colors and different stencils on each background. So I think they came out so springy and so cute. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Love you. Bye-bye.